Good evening, Minnesota Wild fans. It is Ben from Giles and the Goalie here to do a Facebook Live recap of the Wild 2-1 loss in Pittsburgh tonight. Um, where to begin? You know, I'll fully recognize that they are still swooning. We thought that they were out of the woods with the two impressive victories last week. That's not the case. Um, but you have to look on the positive. You don't have to. You don't have to. No. But if you want to look on the positives, if you so choose to be in the holiday spirit, I feel like they played a pretty good game tonight. And really, they limited the chances for a very good Penguins team, um, with the exception of two brutally brutal, horribly horrible, egregious turnovers, um, both in the same fashion by Devin Dubnyk and Greg Pateryn. Um, that really decided the game. And so, if there's any positives you want to take away, it's that they played toe to toe with one of the best teams in the league, a team that just beat the defending Stanley Cup champions last night. And they looked pretty good doing it. It was a lot of high event hockey. That was a fun game to watch. There was a lot of shots, a lot of chances. Maybe not all of them great, but there was a lot of shots. And they stood toe to toe, and that's not something that we've typically seen out of swooning Wild teams. Usually, when the Wild are mired in a swoon, they're getting blown off the ice on a nightly basis. So this is promising. This gives you hope that the swoon is not going to last forever, and that the Wild, will come out of it and perhaps win some games. Dubnyk again looked sharp. The two goals that were allowed, the first one was 100% his fault on that turnover, but is what it is. And then the second one, I mean, he really didn't have a whole lot of shot um, Rust Rust from Gensel. So it is what it is. On the downside, this team not being able to finish is really coming back and biting them again. And this is something I've talked about a lot this season, but this team has not been able to finish, and we saw it a ton. We saw a couple of failed odd man rushes tonight, um, that really would have turned the tide of the game. There's no doubt about it. So there's that. And it's also, the fact that they they are still, not converting on those. I mean, that's huge that they're not converting on those odd man rushes and they're not finishing. And the loss of Matt Dumba kind of creeping into the back of your mind of how long he's going to be gone, and the fact that he was one of the top goal scorers on this team has to be considered. I mean, it's like losing Parisi for a stretch last season where you're losing a top flight goal scorer essentially. I mean, I know Dumba's a defenseman, but he lead the NHL in defenseman goals, and you're going to lose 2-1 games like this, especially now the defense is stretched even thinner. I mean, it's not like Nate Prosser had a horrible night, but maybe some of the lack of familiarity between Pateryn and Brodin led to that Pateryn turnover, which loses you the game. I mean, that just kind of is what it is. So, there's a lot of ways you can look at it. You can look at it on the negatives that this lack of finishing has gone on and on and on and on, and it hasn't really seemed to have any end in sight. You can look at the positives, where Dubnyk was very solid against a very good team, and they were really toe to toe, and it really took a pretty great night from Casey DeSmith to for the Wild to lose this game. So um, depends on which way you want to go with it. Depends on what kind of holiday spirit you're in. If you are in the Giles and myself holiday spirit, you're looking at the positives. If you're in the Panda Pete holiday spirit, maybe you're looking at the negatives. We'll see. But that'll do it for me. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to our show. Hopefully you enjoyed our lengthy Jersey segment this week with guest Drew Cove. Look forward to a special Christmas episode this week, and we will see you later.